Hello and welcome, everybody. We are going to do a little bit of intuitive reading for the Aries full moon. This is taking place on Friday, September 29th, early in the morning, about 6 a.m., happening at 6 degrees. So I'm just getting this out there. We also have had a lot of solar activity coming into the planet. So you may be feeling a little bit heady. You may be feeling head pressure. Also, a lot of people reporting having like hot surges and then getting cold. So there's a lot of energies happening. This is all taking place with this full moon in Aries. Aries is ruled by the planet of Mars. And as we see, let me start here. The full moon is always the sun in opposition to the moon. So the sun in Libra, highlighting planets, balance, equilibrium, is shining over in the sign of Aries, which represents self. Aries also represents and rules over the head. So let's name this video Getting Our Heads Right when it comes to relationships, not only relationships with self-healing, as we have Chiron, the wounded healer, also in the sign of Aries. The North Node, which is the collective destiny, is in the sign of Aries as well. The North Node is in this opposition. Is it an opposition? North Node, Pluto. Pluto square the North Node. So there's a tension point here with the collective destiny, with the self, getting ourselves straight in our heads about relationships, structures of the past. Pluto is the transformer. It's also our soul's evolution as well, can be considered maybe the hard knocks. We have that in the structures. So restructuring relationships, restructuring self. The South Node is in Libra. This is also a collective energy. So we have the ruling planet of this Aries full moon, our energy of our motivation, our physical energy. Aries also rules over the blood. So hot-headedness, really, think about it. We want to really heal. We want to rise in who we are as self. Relationships are a huge theme with this full moon as well, because that North Node, now where we want to head to, right? Getting ourselves straight, healing our wounds, being the spiritual warriors that we are, overcoming obstacles, even perhaps ourselves. We are always our biggest obstacle. Let's just say that. And everything is being highlighted by the energy of relationships. There's also one more final square happening between Venus and Uranus. So fixed earth, fixed fire, square tension there as well. Erratic changes in relationships, huge epiphanies, lightning strike epiphanies on relationships, how we are changing our belief on how we want to be loved, show loved, and be love ourselves. So huge theme, relationships. Full moons are always a release. It's a heightened time of a culmination. We could be having a lot of spiritual breakthroughs on relationships that no longer work for us with that Libra energy, right? And we can also see a lot of relationships that are in a battle. So if you're not in a relationship that is of, equal balance, giving, receiving, then, and I've been bringing this up a lot actually, but it's all hand in hand. Humanity's being asked to heal ourselves. We're being asked to get right in our fucking heads, right? With the Aries energy. We're also asking to not be hotheads or act out of impulse. There's a lot of energy around that as well, too. Impulsive behaviors in people that just are not on their healing journey, acting out of their wounds, right? We have Chiron in that self sign of Aries. So you can see a lot of people, if they're not enlightened, acting out of impulse, acting out of anger, Again, all related because the ruling planet of this Aries full moon is ruled by the planet of Mars. It's also our physical energy. If you're feeling a little bit sleepy, a little bit sluggish, depending on where this is all taking place in your chart, along with the solar activity and the geomagnetic storms that we've been having here on the Earth plane, you are not alone. Again, you could be experiencing headaches. You could be experiencing fluctuations in your blood pressure. Keep these all these things in mind because we are all connected. As above, so below. Each individual is being asked relationships first with healing thyself. I know I'm coming into my Chiron return here shortly, where I will be, well, I've been going through many different things and transformations within myself, especially with all of us dealing with that Pluto still in Capricorn. And which degree is it in? It is at 27 degrees and it is still retrograde. So a lot of inner transformation that is, again, I say all the time, astrology does nothing to you. It is the energies that we currently have that we can be working with and elevating ourselves. First and foremost, relationship to self, right? Aries, the collective destiny with the North Node there, being asked to enlighten oneself, grow in oneself, not getting lost in relationships, right? A lot of us are ending the people pleasing. We're being asked again, it's Libra season with this Aries full moon, an equilibrium, a balance, a reset. That's the opportunities we have. Again, astrology does nothing to us. But when we can look at this as an educational purpose, as a soul's evolution on the planet, we can utilize these energies to evolve, to grow. Love thyself. Don't get hot-headed. You could experience, some people, again, it's all free will, having a war within relationships, impulsive behaviors. We want to utilize the Mars energy ruling this planet as being assertive, passionate. The lower vibration would be warring. We could be warring with self if we're not aware, right? So keep all of those things in mind. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. We're going to do a couple of cards for this Aries full moon. And from the first deck we will do, I already did my prayers and set my intentions before I came on to shorten this video up, as again, it was last minute. I was down today with head pressure and a headache personally for myself. So what is the Aries energy for the full moon, for guidance? And I always give thanks to the Holy Spirit for guiding me, all of my angels and ancestors and Creator for protecting me always, as it's been proven over the past 6 months that I am protected by angelics, as we all are. So make sure you're utilizing that. And I would say this too, with the North Node, Chiron, this full moon, a lot of us that have been on the journey doing our healing, we have the opportunity to be the spiritual warriors that we are. There's a lot of relationships that have been take, lack of respect, perhaps, and that trickles down. The theme is huge because we did have this long Venus retrograde in the sign of Leo. On the high aspect of that is heart value. On the low aspect of Leo energy can be prideful, can be, we're seeing that too, right? You can tell who's too prideful and not humbling themselves with the experiences they're having in love, beauty, and worth. So another thing that the low vibration of Leo is attention seeking. So again, squaring off with this Uranus, this is the last of 3 squares with sudden changes, sudden, shocking aha moments when it comes to love, relationships, value. It's all a big ass theme. So what is the first energy? New moon in Gemini. Think it through. So as I labeled this, to get right in our heads with relationships. We now have the energy of Gemini coming up, ruled by the planet of Gemini, is ruled by Mercury. There is our thoughts. There is our head coming back, asking us to think it through. Again, I was saying there's a lot of people acting out of impulse, making a lot of stupid fucking decisions when it comes to relationship to themselves and others. We're being asked with this full moon to think it through, be assertive, but also think it through before you take action. That is the first message for this Gemini, or sorry, now I'm going into Gemini. Think it through, again, goes right back to what I was saying about naming this. Get yourself right in your head about relationships. What else is coming through here from the beautiful Moonology Oracle? As this full moon in Aries, it's also known as the harvest moon. As we came into that balance with the autumn and spring equinox, depending on if you're in the northern or southern hemisphere, known as the harvest moon, where people are gathering their goods, their values, their food, and storing up things for the winter ahead for us in the northern hemisphere. Lighten up. So this is asking us to lighten up. Things can be very intense right now for many of us. We're asked to get out and have a little bit of fun. We're asked to do something playful, do something that brings us joy. With this full moon, full moons are always, they don't call it lunatic for nothing, a time of heightened emotions, a culmination. Let me stop sharing before I do any more cards. A culmination of the things that we've already most likely been working on. Make sure when you're making your decisions that you continue to think it through. Again, I said with that Mars energy, Aries full moon with the South Node, watching ourselves from becoming hot-headed, too impulsive. Those are always the lowest vibrations of that. Again, we all have all planets somewhere in our natal chart. We are far more than our sun sign. So let's do a couple of cards from the Twin Flame Journey Tarot. Thank you for joining me today. First message we got is Ace of Swords, breakthrough in awareness. So this is something that you are having aha moments. There's something that you've been thinking about, perhaps revaluing and valuing yourself. You may have been coming through with some sort of breakthrough, again, with that Uranus squaring the Venus energy for the last third and final time. It's happened during the summer, I believe July and August as well. Now in the last part of September, it's coming into that square with Venus, a whole new breakthrough in your value, I would say. And that Uranus energy is a swords energy. It's a lightning bolt shift and change in your perception, perhaps. I know many of it's coming through for me. So this Ace of Swords is telling us to pay attention to those breakthroughs and awarenesses. Could be something that comes through in your intellect, higher mind, Uranus. And whatever that breakthrough and awareness is should be able to help you shift your perspective as we come into this culmination with the Aries full moon. Manifestation tools. We got the Magician card. We have to pay attention to what we think, shift our breakthrough and awareness in that mental energy here. See, we have the Swords energy here. We also have another air energy here with Gemini coming up with this think it through. So paying attention to our thoughts with the Magician card, because all we have to do is shift our mindset. I know that's huge. I'm a Virgo sun, so Mercury ruled, and shifting that mindset, thinking things through, taking time. Meditation would be another huge thing to do if you don't do it already. And the reason I say that is because we have to, again, what did I say? Shift our mindset and get our heads right when it comes to relationships. And before I do an I am affirmation, I'm going to do one crystal message from the crystal angels to see what crystal may be beneficial or which message from this crystal angel oracle is what we are guided to look at and receive during this full moon energy. Again, it's always a waxing and a waning. So this full moon, we will feel the influence for at least a couple few days prior or after, always after and before. But again, it's a high intensity time, right? That sun in the opposite sign. And I have definitely been heady today, lots of head pressure, think things through, lighten up and do something for fun. If you have a sudden epiphany, follow that and allow it to be the magician that you are and manifest that. So the fluorite is the crystal, natural beauty and authenticity. Be yourself as God made you, naturally attractive and lovable inside and out. This is what we're seeing in relationships. If they are not thriving, growing, again, all relationships go through changes and transformations, but if it's not growing, if it's not healthy, if it's not godly, one person or both, whichever, is not being authentic. So we're seeing a huge thing in this. It's going to continue to rise. I do not really necessarily care for labels, but this theme has been coming up, not to mention with the Venus retrograde in Leo, but also the Libra energy now, relationships, the North Node in Aries, the South Node in Libra, relationship themes. It basically boils down to authenticity and fake. Empaths, God's chosen ones, those who are living in their truth, or narcissism. There's a huge thing that's happening. It is a spiritual battle, the bigger picture. Be true to you. Remember that you are God's child. If you're listening to this, I would assume that you are, and a light within. And so that is actually what is the most attractive thing, is being authentic. Shine your beautiful light to the world. You will find your tribe. And that could be the sudden breakthrough and awareness of going, you know what? I am worthy of goodness. I am worthy of love. I am love. I emanate that beauty. I'm disappearing in the night sky. I just love it. I am a God's child. I am authentic. And that is actually what is beauty. Many of my videos recently, I've been talking about, the authentic self. And that's what we're busting down to. North Node in Aries, being true to the self, being a spiritual warrior, because the narrow path is the less traveled by society. If you haven't fucking noticed, keep on that path, spiritual warriors. That's too many. What did we get? I am willing to ask for help. This is a receiving energy. The feminine energy in many of us has not stepped forward. And now we're being told to know that you're worthy. I can ask for help without feeling like I'm not enough. So be willing to ask for help. If you're going through a hard time, whether it's somebody to listen to, that you need somebody to listen, or maybe you need help in the physical surroundings, do not hesitate. Aries can be stubborn. I think it's in my 5th house. So if you need help, don't be too stubborn to ask. And that is what is being highlighted for this very beautiful Aries full moon. Very powerful, very heady, very hot energy as well. So do what you can do. Do not be impulsive. Think things through. And again, through all the intensity, make sure that you're allowing yourself to have a little bit of joy. And always, thank you so much for joining me. Until the next time, shalom, shalom.